Alright, we will be talking about my Juvenile Delinquency Final, and I have chosen to do my final over juvenile detention facilities. What is juvenile delinquency? Juvenile delinquency is an act committed by a minor that violates one or more laws implicated by the United States government. And this can also include the local government as well. Juveniles can be arrested for the same crimes as adults and juvenile-specific offenses. In 2018, nearly 730,000 juveniles were arrested. 60% of those arrested were white, and 70% of those were male. What kind of crimes can juveniles commit? These offenses include truancy, curfew violations, and runaway behaviors. These are called status offenses. The most popular crimes juveniles commit include drug law violations, burglary, theft, assault, robbery, homicide, and rape. In recent years, assault has accounted for 20% of cases. Drug law violations have accounted for 14%, larceny has accounted for 13%, obstruction of justice has accounted for 12%, and disorderly conduct has accounted for 6%. Some other offenses include vandalism, trespassing, and offenses that are related to weapons. Alright, what punishments can juveniles receive? Non-incarceration punishments include a verbal warning from the judge, a fine that must be paid to the government or the victim. Juveniles can receive community service as a punishment. The court may ask that you complete a certain number of hours in service to your community. Juveniles can receive electronic monitoring, which is where they are ordered to always wear a wrist or ankle bracelet to verify where they are for a certain amount of time. Or they can receive probation, which is where they would be assigned certain conditions that they have to meet, including attending counseling, meeting curfews, avoiding specific individuals such as gang members, and completing anger management classes. In this case, you can be assigned a probation officer who reports back to the court. If you have violated the terms of your probation, you can receive a harsher disposition order, and this would most likely result in incarceration. What punishments can juveniles receive extended? These are incarceration punishments. So a juvenile can receive home confinement or house arrest, which is where the judge orders the minor to stay at home with certain expectations for school and counseling visits. The judge can also change the placement of a juvenile from a parent or a guardian to a group or foster home. A juvenile can receive juvenile hall as a punishment, and that would be them having to stay in a juvenile detention center for short term, and then they could receive probation after that. And more serious offenses, a juvenile can receive a punishment where they have to stay in a secured juvenile facility, and it would be for a longer amount of time. And then in the most extreme cases, some juveniles can be tried and sentenced as an adult and sent to prison. Most of these cases result in the child killing someone, whether it was manslaughter or murder. It doesn't really matter. What is a juvenile detention facility? Juvenile detention is a short-term confinement primarily used after a youth has been arrested. but before the court has determined the youth's innocent or guilt. Pretrial detention is appropriate only when the court believes a youth to be at risk of committing crimes or fleeing during court processing. A smaller number of young people are in detention centers after their case has been heard, while they are waiting for either a disposition or placement after a disposition. How many juvenile detention facilities are in the United States? As of September 2023, there are 1,599 juvenile detention centers located all over the United States. How many children become reoffenders? Reoffending rates remain very high. Over 2/3 of children reoffend within 12 months of release from secure institutions. Reoffending rates are also substantially higher amongst young adults in the criminal justice system than older adult offenders. This shows the destructive cycle that crime can have on some young people and how they struggle to get out of it. What programs do juvenile detention centers provide? Many juvenile detention centers consist of the same programs. These programs include anger management classes, substance abuse programs, parenting classes, independent living classes, outdoor community services, among others. Every juvenile detention center has different programs that they provide, but these are the most common. Many of these classes are provided for certain amounts of time. They'll start and finish whenever they graduate. What programs do juvenile detention centers provide extended? Adding to the list, many juvenile detention centers provide classes such as reading, writing, math, algebra 1, 2, and 3, fitness or PE, theater, art, religion, and language classes. These juvenile detention centers provide these classes to children who have been or will be staying for a long amount of time. This allows children to keep up with their learning so that when they are released, they can be re-enrolled in school and enter into the grade that they should be. Some detention centers have also started to provide vocational classes that teach about different trades, such as mechanics, electricians, plumbers, nursing. There are several trades out there. And this could give children in juvenile detention centers more of a chance to have a job after serving their sentence. Who decide what programs these centers provide? So the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention is constantly researching and comparing numbers to provide the most effective prevention programs to our youths who are in need. While the OJJDP works within detention centers, they also work with the public to give communities and parents effective preventive strategies to help prevent students and children from becoming criminals. The OJJDP also provides methods to communities and parents that could help keep their children and students from reoffending. How effective are these programs? Many studies show that incarceration of a child can do more damage than it can do good. It has been noted that just because a child has gone to jail before does not deter them from reoffending. Studies also show that over 30% of children who are incarcerated do not end up graduating high school. Because of that 30%, the OJJDP has decided that core curriculum classes should be taught to these children. At the same time, these classes are in detention centers to help students get closer to graduating even while incarcerated, as well as keeping them socially active with people their age.